Coming up in this episode, double the hauls means double the fun. Hello everybody, welcome once again to M Cubed. I am Brian, the Motley Mix Merchant. Thank you very much for dropping by. How is everybody doing? Staying safe, I hope, in all your thrifting adventures. I know I have been, keeping my distance and wearing my mask and getting lots and lots of stuff. This is a haul video. It is a double haul video. 2 big hauls in the last 7 days or so, plus a couple of yard sale visits, actually. Decided to go out on a couple of Saturdays, which were very nice weather-wise. Picked up a couple of very small things at yard sales, and I've got one of them to show you right now. So I'm going to show you about 8 things or so, talk about them, the kind of things that I'm selling, just to give you a little idea of what is selling. You know, it's a good mix, ceramics and pottery, lots of glass, and that is exactly what happened. I'll talk about that as I go along, exactly where I got these things and how it all transpired. So let's get started. Let's get right into it. Here we go. This is the first item. It is a thrift store find, and it is also going to be already in the September What's Sold episode because it lasted less than a week on the eBay store. It is one of my numerous Happy Cat wine bottles that I have sold. I've sold probably 5 of these already in the last 6 months or so, and I picked up this one. It was in gorgeous shape. The secret with these, if you ever see these in the store, it's a German Riesling wine, and it's not even old. This is from 2017, so it's not super old, the bottle, but they're popular because of the shape of them. They can be great accessories on a bar, or they can be turned into a flower pot, a bud vase. So but they're in great shape. This is the secret for these. If you ever see these in the store and out in the wild, grab them because they're usually pretty cheap. I got this for $2 Canadian at the thrift store, and it sold for $20 US, plus shipping, plus $9 towards the shipping. And it's getting shipped out on Monday. It is now Friday afternoon as I'm recording this. So it just sold last night, and I didn't have a chance to do it today. So going out Monday morning, going to need a little bit of a longer box because it is 12 plus inches with the cork inside. But great turnaround, $2 Canadian, $20 American. Can't complain about that at all. I'll do that all the time. And as I say, I've sold numerous of those in the past, including one about a month ago. And so I knew they sell. They sold well. Sorry, great English, Brian. And, you know, picked it up for $2, sold it for 20 US. Great turnaround. All right, let's do this one. This is fun. All right. This is a cookie jar. It's called the Cookie Barn, obviously, as you can see. Got this at a yard sale. I went to this yard sale. It's a good half-hour drive outside of where I live, and they were advertising, and they showed the pictures. They had all kinds of Pyrex and vintage milk glass coffee mugs, that kind of stuff. But the guy knew what the prices were worth, what they were worth, and so he had eBay prices on his Pyrex and that kind of thing, especially on the milk glass mugs. So there was nothing really there for me. So I just kept looking around. Found this cute little barn cookie jar, but it's got a special feature. The Green Acres theme song plays when you open it up to grab a cookie. I thought that was hilarious. I looked it up. Actually, I left the house, went to my car, looked it up, and these sell for $20 to $25 US. He was asking $4 for it, so I gave him the $4 for this. And I'm going to list this for $20 to $25 US, but there's a problem. There was a price sticker on the front of this. Can you see it right there? I wasn't thinking that this is plastic, and I used nail polish remover to try and get the sticker residue off of the front of the barn, and it took off some of the finish. As you can see, it's a little white and a little smoky there, milky, as you say. So I think I may have just cost myself maybe $5, if not an entire sale, but still looks good, and it still works. So I think it's going to sell still probably $15 to $20 because of the little mark on the front. Might take $5 off it or so. But I thought that was hilarious, and that was a yard sale find. So I found things everywhere in the past little while. Since I saw you last with another haul video, I've had yard sales, I've had thrift stores, and I've had auctions. And oh boy, have I had auctions. If you are a longtime follower, and if you are not, I invite you to become a subscriber by hitting the button down below and then hitting the bell to be notified every time a new episode is uploaded. But that for slipping that in there this time. You know that in the third week of July, I picked up a huge lot of glass and ceramics. It was a company, a business going out of business in a nearby town. Picked it up on Max Sold for a grand total of like $20 for 7 or 8 big boxes full of stuff. And I've made a really good return on my money on that one. Well, they had another sale because they still have more things to get rid of. And I picked up this time only 5 boxes worth of glass and ceramics. But I got some good stuff. But I'm also being pickier this time about what I keep and what I try to sell. I'm just going, when I'm going through the boxes, I'm just splitting into sell it or donate it. And there's a couple things that I'm going to be selling at auction myself, but I'm really, really getting picky now. I really only want to keep the things that I think are going to get me $15 to $20 profit. The other piddly little stuff, I'm just going to redonate that back to Goodwill and let somebody else enjoy it locally, hopefully for a half decent price. But this is one of the things that was in that glass and ceramics haul. This guy, this 18 inches tall. I had to back up so you can see all of them. I'll hold them sideways, I guess. This is an 18 inches tall Metaxa. I'm sure that's not being pronounced right. It is a Greek specialty liqueur along the lines of ouzo, apparently. And this is a canister that is made in Italy. Very, very popular. He is in great shape. Still has the original lid. That's a cork, actually, on the top. And I didn't want to take it off. It's actually, I think it's broken in half, if I remember, from when I listed it. But he was in a lot that I got for probably $2 or $3. This time I spent a grand total of $17 Canadian with fees and taxes included. That's it. So I spent a little less, got a little less, but I got some pretty good items as well. He's on the website right now for $34.99, I think. So more than double my money back on the entire auction if he sells for that much. So very cool. Sells the original sticker on the back. You can see made in Italy on the bottom, upside down. Of course it was upside down. 50-50 chance, Brian. There you go. Made for Metaxa in Italy. And very popular. He's got about a 50% sell-through rate every 90 days, so he should sell very, very quickly. So that's from the glass and ceramics haul. I have a couple of items that I've put into the online auction at the auction house that I work at, which came out of that auction as well. And one of them is a beautiful set of brass and cast iron andirons. You know them from the fireplaces. If you have a fireplace in your house, or if you've ever seen the great big andirons that go in the front of the fireplace, I've got a couple of those, and they were very, very nice. I'll see if I can put the listing right up here as it stands right now in the auction house. It already has a couple of bids, so it's going to sell, and they should sell for a half decent price actually come auction day in a couple of days. And they should pay for the whole auction, so everything else is going to be profit. So, but that was just on a shelf, and they were sideways underneath some other glass pretty much. You could barely see them in the picture. So I got lucky, and when I went to pick up my stuff, a week ago now, there were these beautiful brass andirons. So it was great. Great pickup on that one. Got this one at the auction that my auction house has. I don't know. I just picked it up for the heck of it. It is a Corona Extra metal beer bucket. Now there was this one, another larger one, which had a Canadian beer brand on it. Then there was something else in the lot, and I can't remember what it was. But I got all 3 of them for $3. So this cost me $1. It's going to be up on the website today or tomorrow for $20 US. That's what they sell for. A little dirty on the inside, but it's just a beer bucket. But it's got the Corona Extra on it. And that's a very desirable graphic on the front, as you can see. Very cool. And it should go for $20, getting you a good $15 to $18 US profit on that one. Don't forget, everything is profit when it comes to sales price versus my cost of goods. If you're a follower, you remember that I buy everything in Canadian, sell everything in US funds. So even after fees are taken out, I'm still making 10% profit on the exchange. So that means that I'm still making the entire amount of the sale in profit after you subtract my cost of goods. So it's really, really good. Same auction that I got the beer bucket on, I got this. Now they talk about vintage. This is vintage. Who knows what this is before I tell you? You can see it's a belt with a strap on it. Anybody know the name of that? This is called a Sam Browne belt. It was a belt used by military officers in the First and Second World Wars. This one is not marked, however. There is provenance from the original consignor at the auction house. The consignor is an older gentleman. His father fought for one of the Eastern European countries in the war, and this was his. I got two of them. There was this one and then a smaller one, which may have been a youth officer, a youth division officer, because it's really tiny. I think the waist size is 25 to 35 or something was the waist size on that one. This one goes 38 to 51. So it's definitely an adult belt. But I got both of them. I had to pay up. They're collectible World War memorabilia. I paid $30 for the two of them, so $15 a piece. Right now, this one is listed on my eBay store for $75 US. The other one is listed for $65 US, getting tons and tons of views, a number of watchers. I got an offer the day after I listed it. It was a little lower though, and it had already been getting a lot of views, so I turned down the low offer and said, come see me in about 3 weeks if it's still up here, because maybe I'll take a slightly higher offer than what you offered. But yeah, 65 and 75. I suspect they may end up going for around 60 and 50 in that neighborhood. So good $110 US return for my $30 Canadian investment. And I'm glad I went for them. I don't usually buy up like that, pay that much for an item just that I know is going to sit. But I've seen them in our auctions before, and I've looked them up, and I knew what kind of return you could get on them. So I decided to look them up. So World War memorabilia is definitely something to be on the lookout for when you're at yard sales or shopping at auctions or whatever. Be on the lookout for war memorabilia. It still sells big, big, big time. I thought this was cute. This was also from the glass and ceramic hall that came with the Greek officer there. This is a beautiful, sorry with the rattling, enamel metal double boiler. As you can see, pop things off, double boiler. It's got the cream color with the red detailing. It's in really, really good shape. I mean, for its age, it's from the 1950s. It does have a burn on the one corner here on the base. The inside one has a couple of burns, one on each side there. That one's a pretty large one, that one there. But it's still usable. The inside is perfectly clean, and I just realized I'm just clanging all this metal right in front of the microphone. Sorry, I always do that. But the inside is beautifully clean, still usable if you ever wanted to use them. But even as a decoration piece, that's cute. That's a very cute 1950s style double boiler. And so I'm pretty sure that's going to be listed for $35 US, if I recall. I'm just getting to the point now of getting ready to take pictures of most of the things that I'm showing to you today. So I think that's a $30 to $35 item. And again, from the ceramic hall, cost to me 50 cents, if that. All right, what do we have here? Okay, now, I said this is a double haul because along with the glass and ceramic auction that was online, I went back. They're having live auctions at the auction house just near my, about a 10-minute drive from where I live. It's where I picked up, if you remember, the hats and the Mary Mushroom canisters, that auction house. But they're back to doing live auctions with social distancing and masks and all that kind of stuff. So it's, but they did a good job, I have to admit. I mean, we talk about it at the auction house I work at, that they're going to get in trouble one of these times, but they actually did a pretty decent job of keeping people away from each other, making sure that you had your mask on if you were up at the auction, actual active table and that kind of thing. So I went back this past Tuesday, spent a little bit of money, about $100 worth actually, $100 worth of auction with $28 fees and taxes, so $128 total. But I figure I've got probably in the $500 to $600 range worth of stuff to sell from the auction. I've already gone through a few of the boxes, already separated out some of the things that are just going to be donated. I've already got a garbage box going because it was the same deal as last time where I bought entire tables of leftover items. People would come up, they would bid on a certain item. They would pick if the table had 20 items on it, about 10 or so would be auctioned off individually. And then whatever was left that nobody wanted to bid on individually, you bid on the entire table. And I spent $20 twice and $10 6 times for my $100 purchase. So I picked up 8 tables of stuff, and some of it was pretty good. Some of it was very good. And some of it was surprising because I didn't expect the value of some of the items that were on the tables. And obviously nobody else did either because they would have bid on these items by themselves. So let me show you just a couple of the things that I got from this live auction that I picked up this past week. This was just 3 days ago now. Today's Friday. It was on Tuesday. But let me show you a couple of the things. There was a table full of office equipment. There is 6 7-hole punches, brand new, some 9-hole punches, 3-hole punches, 2-hole punches, a 1-hole punch. So I may have a big lot of hole punches to put up on the auction site at my auction house in a week or two once I get through everything. But there's these, as I've been holding these up the whole time. These are IBM Selectric typewriter balls, head balls. They're heads, they're called. Now, I've got 5 of these, which are all different fonts, and that's the big thing. People buy these still because they need a specific font. This one's letter Gothic, then there's Courier, there's Script, there's another Gothic one, and then there's one more. And so I've got 5 of these. They each sell for $10 a piece. So I'm going to put them in a lot. I'm going to try them as a lot first and see if anybody wants to pick up all 5 of them so that they have a full selection for the old IBM typewriter that they're using. And I'm going to put a $45 price tag on the lot of 5 IBM heads. So that's not bad. If I get that, that's almost half of the entire auction paid for right there. So I thought, and that was just an afterthought inside of the box after I basically shoved the entire table contents into the box along with the other office stuff. And then I looked these things up as I'm starting to unpack things, and nice surprise there with the office equipment. But I'm not sure how much else from that table is going to sell. Those hole punches, I might be able to lot a few of them together and get $10, $20 or something like $15 maybe at the online auction. So you know what? Every dollar helps, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to do well with them overall from that table for the $10 that I spent on it. I know this table that I'm talking about next, I spent $20 on because I knew what was on it. And it actually came about because we had some of these items for sale at my auction house about 2 weeks ago. And I listed them for the auction, and just for fun, I looked them up to make sure that none of them individually was worth a lot of money, but overall, it was a pretty good lot. And I think a lot of 7 of these went for $25 in an online auction. That's a pretty good price for 7 of these 45 RPM records. As you can see, there's about 8, I think there's 18 of them. They're 45 RPM records, but they're not just any old records. They're not 1960s or 70s crooners or anything like that. This one, not another one on eBay. There is a sold version of this, which was a read-along book as well, which sold for $45 US. 2 of them. There are currently none for sale. This is the only one I have. There isn't one on eBay with the Orange Bird song. If you remember, this was the theme song, I think, for the Florida orange growers back in the 70s. Anita Bryant was the singer when she was the spokesperson for orange growers in Florida. I think that's going to be a $20 to $25 record. Just this record, $20 to $25 US. Then there's this one, and I'm going to apologize right now if this offends any of my viewers, but the reason I'm showing it is because of the political incorrectness of it in this day and age, and this is why it is selling for money on eBay. This is Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby, read-along book and record. There's a 45 RPM record in there. There's also a read-along book. Now, of course, the subject matter, not right in this day and age. I can't believe it was right back in that day and age either. But there is one problem, and that is that the book does have scribbles in it. As you can see, the first few pages are scribbled in by whoever the child was that owned this. Unfortunately, I may, if I even tried, I might try to sell it just to see if I get any hits on it. But right now, these are selling because of the subject and because it's going to disappear pretty quick. You're not going to be able to sell these soon. They're selling for $25 to $30 US just for this. I may get 10 to 15 if I'm lucky because of the writing on the inside. I'm debating, socially debating in my mind whether I should bother to sell this or not, if it's correct to do it or not. But, you know, they're still available. They're still for sale on eBay. But again, that's just, be on the lookout for stuff that is controversial and might get you a little bit of attention if you put it on eBay. If you remember, I had Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind was in the news back in the beginning of this pandemic, back in May, and I picked up the box of books and I sold Gone with the Wind for like $80 US or $65, whatever it was. And so watch for controversial things that are in the news. You never know. That is only getting attention because of the subject matter and the title. So we'll see. Now, on top of those two, there's 16 more, almost all Disney 45 RPM records. These are songs from the various movies. And I mean, this batch here, let me get this batch separated first. This batch here is, what's that? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 10 records, all from the same company. This was actually printed in Canada, these were. But as you can see, they're all the same, and they're all the different shows. The Aristocats, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Bambi, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And it's songs from those movies, and they sell. I'm thinking, I'm debating if there's 10. I may do 2 lots of 5 on eBay and see what I can do. But they should sell for $40 to $50 for 5 of them. They sell individually for $8 to $10 a piece. So I'm going to try and do a lot of 5 and see if I can get $40 to $45 to $50 for 5 of them. So that would be a good $100 right there from those 10 records. So just those little bit of records alone is, I'm looking at $150 or so for the 45s. There's also another dozen big 33 RPM LPs. Half of them are Disney. There's some other children's ones inside there as well that sell. So I've got a good $200 plus worth of records just from the one table that I paid $20 for. So I was happy that only one other person bid against me. I bid 10, they bid 15, I bid 20, and that was it for them. So I got $20 spent for what could be a good $250 to $300, if I remember what else was on that table, in return for that purchase. So I thought that was one of my best buys of the day, for sure. I think overall, as I say, I probably have $500 to $600 total worth of items from the in-person auction from this past week. The online auction, not so much this time. Maybe 150-ish, depending on how well my andirons do in the online auction. So 17 turning into 150, that's pretty good. And then if I can turn the 100 into 500 or 600, that's pretty good as well. So got to keep getting the stuff. Got to stay. I say that I have to keep getting stuff, but I can't get any more stuff. I've been cut off because you can't see the dining room table at all, and there are boxes on the floor right now. So I've been cut off from buying anything else and bringing anything else into the house until I get all this stuff organized and listed and sold and put on the shelves, which I have been organizing. Half of my day has been organizing my stockpiles, and then the other half of the day has been organizing and listing and taking pictures and that kind of stuff. So I'm getting there. It's getting there. Got to make room. I'm up to 610 listings right now, and things keep flying off the shelves. It's been a really good month so far 42 items sold as of right now, the afternoon of the 25th. So I'm going to hope to try and get to 50 by the end of the weekend. And that will be one of the best months I've ever had. So hopefully that's an indication of what I can expect for the fourth quarter coming up in about less than a week's time. So that's a few of the things I picked up. The kind of things that I think will sell, the things that I have researched to find out if they will sell and if they're selling on eBay, and all the things that I have shown you are selling on eBay. And as I mentioned, I don't mind making between $15 and $20 profit per item that I sell. Because if I sell 50 of them in a month, that's a pretty good $750 to $1,000 profit, which is a fantastic part-time income as far as I'm concerned. And it's definitely helping through these crazy times. So I'm going to end it here because I've got some work to do. As you can see, I'm going to be a little busy for the next 4 or 5 weeks, but that's good because as long as I can keep listing things, the more I list, the more I sell. And that's definitely the way eBay works. So keep on listing, folks. Keep on finding stuff to list. Make sure you have room for it in your house before you get a lot. And then I wish you all the best with your selling and your thrifting. Please stay safe. Wear your mask. It's the least we can do. And I will hopefully see you right here for another episode of M Cubed in the very near future. Bye for now, everybody. Cheers.